using hunger as a food selection algorithm. Let's say I'm hungry and I have been strength training before, so I can guesstimate that my hunger to a certain extent is also protein hunger. If I then present multiple options of foods to now my body and my hunger, my body seems to usually give me cues to what type of food it would now prefer. And to a certain extent, probably also what amino acid profile it now would prefer. To a certain extent, probably also what macronutrient ratios my body would now prefer. What seems to be the case is that if I interval train, then my hunger cues are kind of decreased. If I do cardiovascular training, then my body seems to kind of prefer a higher carb ratio. So higher carbs to fat and to protein. If I now have done resistance training, then my body also seems to usually, at least at a given point in time, have a preference for a given protein. One can then use these different foods in order to kind of isolate these variables. So this here now would be both pork. This is salami, this is ham. Now the salami comes with a protein to fat ratio of bigger than 1. So there is more fat in here compared to protein. So it's actually the other way around. So it has a protein to fat ratio of less than 1. Whereas the ham here does have 2 grams of fat for 100 gram and protein 20 grams. So the protein to fat ratio in this case is 10. If now, given these two options, my body has to select, and it selects salami for example, I can guesstimate that my body now prefers either the additional dextrose that is in the salami, or that my body now wants also a little bit of fat. Whereas if I would prefer this, then my body now seems to want protein more than other macronutrients, in this case fat. I also often seem to be able to distinguish between milk protein, let's say casein in this case, or protein from meat. And on mostly cardiovascular days, let's say I go for a run, but do not strength train. Of course, it could happen that from the previous day of strength training, I still have kind of an additional need of protein. I can also take cues like muscle soreness into account, and then again, kind of update my different hypotheses on what food probably satiates the different kinds of nutrient needs my body has the best.